A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wasallam. Inshallah, today we will study 10th ruku of Surah Al-Baqarah. However, first of all, let's recap what we learned in 9th ruku. First thing, the people who were reluctant to slaughter a cow executed a person and then started blaming each other. However, Allah Almighty brought forth what they were concealing. Number two, slowly and gradually, Bani Israel drifted from the right path. They fell into differences and they turned away from the divine law completely. Number three, the behavior which has been highlighted in earlier rukus that very much prevails in our societies in various forms and various shapes and various conducts, like concealing the reality and twisting facts. Number four, most of the people in our societies do not have knowledge and they totally rely on their wishful thinking. For example, paradise is reserved only for a particular religion or for a particular caste. Or fire would not touch us but for a limited duration, etc. We must know that divine laws are applicable to everyone without any discrimination. Now, let's start our today's session by praying from Allah Almighty that He gives us the true understanding of the Holy Quran by the grace of Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Surah Al-Baqarah, Ruku number 10, verses 83 to 86. وَإِذَا أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ لَا تَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهَ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا وَذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى. And when we took covenant from the children of Israel, serve none except Allah, and be kind to your parents and to kindred and to orphans. Now let's have meanings of the words which are underlined. Bil walidain, with parents. Zil kurba, near relatives. Al jatama, those without any guardian. Now this reminder to Bani Israel continues, and this verse also highlights various clauses of the covenant which Allah Almighty took from them. Now primarily, this covenant is based on well-being of the community, or you may say, establishment of a welfare society. And it starts with that serve none but Allah Almighty. No question arises, how can we serve Allah Almighty? As He is free of all the needs. He doesn't eat anything, He doesn't drink anything, He doesn't dress up like us. No, the answer lies in the rest of this verse. And the first thing is, be kind and generous to your parents, your family, your relatives, and orphans. And this verse continues, Wal masakine wa kulu lil nas husna wa aqimus salata wa atu zakah. And the needy, and speak good for the people, and establish salah and system of zakah. Al masakin, poor. Kulu, say or speak. Husnan, balanced or in a decent way. Akimu, institute, establish. A zakat, purifying. Now, in addition to the first class, which was be kind and generous to parents, family, relatives, and orphans, now here are a few more things. And the needy people who do not have sufficient resources, they may be widows, they may be disabled persons, or may be poor persons. And number four, speak to the people kindly and treat them nicely. Number five, establish salah and system of zakat. Look, this integrated program of salah and zakat has been emphasized in the Holy Quran more than anything else. Establishment of salah facilitates following the divine commands, and system of zakah that ensures fulfillment of essential needs of everyone, circulation of money, and make weak people as useful members of the society. The verse continues, Summa tawallaytum illa qalilan minkum wa antum murizun. Then you slid back, except a few of you, and you are ours. Tawallaytum, you turned back. Qalilan, a little. Minkum, amongst you. Antum, you are. Morizun, disinclined, refused, or turning away. O people, you had already promised that you would serve Allah by dealing kindly with the people and encourage them to do good things. Furthermore, you had promised to establish the salah and system of zakah for the welfare of society. Now, after making all these promises, however, you started looking for ways to avoid fulfilling of these promises, and except a very few of you, the rest abandoned the right path, and you backslide even now. وَإِذَا أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ وَلَا تُخْرِجُونَ أَنفُسَكُم مِّن دِيَارِكُمْ ثُمَّ أَقْرَرْتُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَشْهَدُونَ. And when we took a covenant from you, do not shed blood of each other, and do not evict one another from your homes. Then you acknowledged, and you were witness. Dijarikum, your homes. Akrartum, you accepted. Tashhadun, you were observing. You were witnessing. But just recall, when you promised with us that you would not engage in mutual bloodshed, nor would you evict the weaker amongst you out of their dwellings. Now, this is what you promised, and you even testified to that. ثم أنتم هؤلاء تقتلون أنفسكم وتخرجون فريقا منكم من ديارهم تظاهرون عليهم بالإثم والعدوان. Then you are the ones who fight each other and evict a faction from you from their homes, backing up against them by sin and enmity. Howlai are the ones, tazaharun, supporting, bilisme, by depravity. Now, ism is any act which causes depletion or loss of energy of an individual or a community. Now, these are such acts which are invariably done with regards to the fellow humans and may be called as a violation of human rights. They are sometimes called hakukul ibad. This is usually referred to as depriving someone of his right. And these are such things which would not go unpunished. And the last underlined word, al-udwan, means hostility. Now, udwan literally means a wedge or a discord that causes a split, and it is detrimental for the establishment of a peaceful and welfare society. Sometimes it's referred to as violation of moral values. Now, these were the promises you made. The promises made with Lot. But you continued shedding blood of each other, and you continued with evicting weak from their homes. The verse continues, وَإِنْ يَأْتُوكُمْ أُسْحَارًا تُفَادُوهُمْ وَهُوَ مُحَرَّمٌ عَلَيْكُمْ إِخْرَاجُهُمْ أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضٍ. And if they come to you as captives, you ransom them, whereas their eviction was forbidden to you. Do you believe in part of the book and you disbelieve in the other part? Yatukum, come to you. Osara, imprisoned. Tufadum, you redeem them. Muharramun, unlawful. And when the homeless people were taken captive, you secured their release and you thought that you were doing a very pious thing by making some payment for them, whereas expelling of these people was unlawful, and that was a serious crime which you were told and you were forbidden from them. Now, this is the state of your behavior, that you accept part of the divine code of conduct while you forsake the rest. The verse continues, فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَن يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. So what is the recompense for those who do this among you, except a disgrace in worldly life? Fama, so what? Jazao, reparation. Man, whoever. Yafalo, performs. Khizyon, humiliation. So what must be the reward for those of you who do this, accept a disgrace in this worldly life? وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. And on the day of resurrection, they be turned to severe punishment. And Allah Almighty is not unaware of what you are doing. Yuraddun, sent back, returned, or turned, ilah, towards, ashadda, hard, tough, wama, and is not, amma, from what? No, such violators would be disgraced in this worldly life and on the day of resurrection. And on the day of resurrection, they would be turned to much more severe and much more grievous suffering. Remember, Allah is not unaware what you are doing now and what you have done. أولئك الذين اشتروا الحياة الدنيا بالآخرة فلا يخفف عنهم العذاب ولا هم ينصرون. Now such are those who buy the worldly life in exchange for the hereafter. So their punishment is not lightened, nor they are helped. Ad-dunya, this word. Now dunya means what you see, and this word is usually translated as world. However, when it is used to compare with akhir, it means a lower grade. It means short-term benefits. It means lack of foresightedness and forsaking the future. The second underlined word, al-akhirah, means hereafter. Hereafter, that is the next cycle of life, the life to come, coming next, or we may say future. Now, akhirah is a long-term perspective. And we may say that tomorrow as built on today. The third underlined word, yukhaffafu, reduced, lessened. And last underlined word, yunsaru, aided or helped. Now these are the people who trade the happiness of future life for the worldly comforts. Their suffering will not be lightened and their condition would be aggravated with time, and no one can rescue them. Let's have a brief summary what we studied in this ruku. Apparently, these verses are referring to Bani Israel, but in fact, these apply to all the oppressive societies anywhere in the world, irrespective of the religion, belief, caste, or creed. The behavior of Bani Israel, which has been highlighted in these verses, prevails in our societies in various forms. We are meant to serve Allah Almighty, and that is possible by treating our parents with kindness, helping our family members and relatives, poor and needy. Thus, a welfare society can be built by establishing a system of salah and system of zakah. We must remember that divine laws are unchanged. Whosoever violates them would have similar punishment which was accorded in the past. May Allah Almighty give us true understanding of the Holy Quran, and may we act upon it according to the life pattern of Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sadaqallahul aliyyul azim. Sallallahu ta'ala ala habibihi Muhammadin wa alihi wasallam.